Hello, this is the output for the lesson 9 of the Arduino starter kit guide, and this is a lesson based off the photoresistor. So here we have the photoresistor itself, and then we have a LED array to show us how it's there to read the general output of the photoresistor. And as you can see, right now it is at, it's almost near maximum, but if we actually move our hand right closer to the photoresistor, the light goes down until it eventually stops. So we can basically use the photoresistor to measure light levels in a general area, as you can see here. And so the way it works is that here we have one wire connected to the 5 volt, and then we have another wire, this wire, connecting to the ground. And so we use a jumper to connect the ground into the LED resistor right here. And then this yellow wire is the analog. So this is gonna use to read the general output of the LED resistor. So from what I understand, the way it works is that there's a current flowing through the LED resistor, and for example, if I were to remove this, it will all be bright. So the current is there's too much current that's going through the resistor, and so what we do is that we simply put a resistor so that there's a certain threshold. There you go. There's a certain threshold within the input output, so that we can basically give a certain value that allows us to have this array of LEDs light up. So I had difficulty picking out the resistor, but I eventually found one that worked. So here we go. And so here, this is just a simple LED array, so it's all connected to several input outputs, and then they're all connected to ground. So that's kind of like the basic structure of the Arduino. So let's move on to the code. So for the code, the way it works is that first we have the number of LEDs. So this is important for just to determine the LED array. We have the LED pins, so we declare an array, and then here we have the different LED, the pin numbers within the microcontroller. We have the photocell pin, so this is basically the analog, so this is gonna be what we're gonna use for input. We have the sensor value and the LED level, so this is gonna be useful later. You'll see. So for setup, here since we have an array of LED pins, so we all want to set that up as output. So here we have a for loop. We basically iterate through the array, and then we basically set each LED as an output. So now we move on to the loop. So here the sensor value is analog read. So basically, remember the photocell pin, this one, the A4. So we basically get the value from essentially get the value from that pin, and then we basically use that as the value for how for the light level, essentially the LED level. So LED map. So what map does is that the first one is the the value itself, and so we're gonna be using this within this new range that we're gonna declare. So here, what map does essentially is it basically converts one range of numbers into another range of numbers. So here is the first range. So this is probably the this is the range. This is the range that we get normally from the LED itself. So here we have 300 to 1K23. So you can change this depending on what your resistor is, or if you don't have the right resistor, so you can change these values. And then we simply convert that range into a range of 0 to the total number of LEDs. So for example, let's say I have a value of, let's say, 500. So since we converted it to 0 instead of 300 to 1K, it is now 0 to the number of LEDs. So instead of 500, it will convert it to, let's say, 6. So now we have a level of 6. So this is a way of essentially just scaling the amount of the input to a more suitable range that we can that we can use to reflect through the LEDs. So okay, so of course sensor value, and then we convert sensor value to to either 0 or the number of LEDs, so we can get the LED level. So now that we have the LED level, we now simply iterate through the different LEDs, and then we have an if else. So if the LED level is currently higher or lower, it will it will print out high, and if it's not, it will print out low. So let's say I guess just like an example, let's say I plug it in, it works, and then the light, let's say the light, it's giving a really high light level, so it's like 1K. So we convert it from 0 to the number of LEDs. So since 1K is like the higher level, so it will probably be, the number of LEDs we have is like we have a total number of 8 currently. So a high number would be like, that would be like around 7 or 8. So since it's 7 or 8, so it will basically iterate through every LED, and then every LED that is from going from the first LED to the 7th LED, it will all light up, and maybe even the 8th one if it reaches to 8, and then everything that is below that will not be gone. So this way we can just simulate a an array of an array, kind of like a level or a bar to indicate how intense the light level is. So yeah, that's basically the basic concept of light sensor, and thank you.